On December 18th, a Manhattan jury found Majors guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and guilty of harassment following a 2-week trial that stemmed from a March incident between the actor and his ex-partner Grace Jabbari. Majors was dropped by the studio just hours after his guilty verdict was announced.
Slumdog. Once narratives are set, there's no change in that. But I'm not here to talk about the situation specifically, but I did want to open up with that because a whole bunch of nomination ceremonies are beginning to happen. A whole bunch of, Oscar buzz is beginning to happen. Golden Globes just finished happening. There's a lot of talk about Michael B. Jordan with Sinners, amazing, absolutely amazing. Timothée Chalamet with Marty Supreme, amazing movie. You have a whole bunch of just different movies. I could go on and on and on and on. 2025 was a year for movies. And I'm looking at these different YouTube channels who discuss movies, who talk about movies, right? And something wasn't right. One just seems to fall through the cracks. One seems to not get enough attention. And that movie is Magazine Dreams, featuring Jonathan Majors as Killian Maddox. Man, this movie was absolutely fantastic, but yet no one seems to talk about it. So Magazine Dreams released in March and Sinners released in April. I think that's partly why this movie got buried. Now, I heard a couple rumblings, it was starting to, but then it just got tossed away the second Sinners came out. Now, Magazine Dreams follows Killian Maddox, an aspiring bodybuilder. Now, Killian Maddox is trying to train to get his IFBB Pro card, which essentially is like making it in the pros for bodybuilding. The character Killian Maddox is a character we haven't seen in any movie ever. A black man who's on the spectrum, dealing with the surroundings of his environment, getting denied and getting pushed over again and again and again. This could be an origin story for the Joker. He's a little different compared to the people around him, and he goes through challenges and upset, and he constantly seeks for validation in his relationships, his idols, and also just overall the people around him. I don't think there's another movie this year that I left the movie theater feeling exactly what the director intended. There's movies where I felt, but this movie made me feel to a different degree. This movie is uncomfortable. This movie's obsessive, the obsessive drive towards wanting to be successful at something, but also the deep psychology within Killian Maddox. Now, let me get into why this film works for me. Now, for one, this movie does a very great job at making Killian Maddox feel isolated. Even the times when he's with other people, you still feel like he's isolated when he's speaking to them because they don't understand the language he's speaking. There's a scene in this movie where he's sitting down with a coworker, actually, that he ends up asking out to go on dinner date. They're having this conversation, and the conversation starts to progress towards bodybuilding, and she knows very little about bodybuilding. And because she knows very little about bodybuilding, the conversation ends up taking a turn. It just starts to get very drastic. His obsessive nature towards bodybuilding, why he trains so hard, why he does what he does, and he starts to talk about his idols in the sport and how hard he trains. And she needs a breath. She's astonished. She's like, whoa, you're just throwing this all on me? Relax. She gets scared. His obsessive nature towards his craft, she gets frightened and she leaves. She ends up saying that she's gonna go to the bathroom, I believe, and she just doesn't return. At first, he's like, he doesn't eat bad food, but then after he sees kind of the way she responds to his answers and leaves him, he just starts to stuff his face because of his obsessive nature and because he's on the spectrum, And I really like how this movie, it makes you feel for Killian. Like I said, this could be the origin of a Joker movie. He decided to paint his face red and white and paint his hair green. I'd have been like, hey, that's a great Joker right there. The training montages in this movie, to me, are really good because all you're hearing is grunt, you're hearing breath, and you're just seeing him work out his absolute hardest. He's reaching a level of his max. You're seeing the dedication. He's eating like 20 eggs all at once to achieve a certain physique. He goes to the competition and he's still one of the smallest guys there. And he puts on some size. He's getting pushed to the back while they're up on the podium doing the poses. And no matter how hard he tries, whether it's through bodybuilding or relationships or just being around strangers, people keep pushing him back. There's a scene in this movie where Killian Maddox is feeling extremely alone. He can't get a date. He can't perform in bodybuilding. They're counting him out. He's getting jumped. And then he's driving and he sees this, I don't want to get copyrighted on YouTube, but he sees, a woman walking on the sidewalk, if you know what I mean. He decides to try to sleep with this woman. So they enter a motel and she's on the bed kind of talking to him. And he talks about his deltoids that the judges called small. And he talks to her about the deltoids, asking her, do you think my deltoids are small? You could see his insecurity. He's looking for that validation through anybody, just anybody. I think the woman, I don't want to call her, but she starts with a P. She starts to recognize this insecurity, starts to actually just be nice to him. Try to have a good conversation with him, try to make him feel better, try to make him feel seen. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the movie. The second she sees kind of, okay, he's a little off, but he needs some love. Killian realizes that everything she's saying just seems transactional, so he immediately storms out and leaves that situation immediately. I don't think I'm the only one to say that this movie definitely has a couple scenes that leave you speechless. Now, I'm gonna talk about two of those scenes that left me absolutely speechless. I did not know this movie was gonna go there, but it went there. The first scene is one of the judges that told him his deltoids are small, one of the judges that commented on his physique. We see that judge going home, and he opens his apartment door, he walks in, and we see Killian at the place he resides. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is good? I did not expect this, but a part of me also felt like, man, like you're kind of rooting for Killian in a way. Killian's there and he has some artillery with him. He makes the judge feel like how he feels. He has the judge strip down and begin to pose. That scene had your heart pumping because you did not know what Killian was gonna do. Throughout this whole movie, you start to get a sense of that. He can get unhinged. You have zero knowledge on what his next move is gonna be. We see the judge as he strips down. The judge he has no great physique. The judge it's a great representation of people who tend to comment and say negative thoughts and words towards those performing. Killian, it's sick to say, but Killian kind of shows that, like, man, your physique is off, your deltoids are all messed up, your deltoids are crazy, but yet you're judging those who are working extremely hard to get to a certain point. It was a very interesting scene that I really liked. Now, the last scene I want to touch on, crazy. The craziest scene I've seen in a long time. Mike O'Hearn is a real life bodybuilder, and in this movie he plays Brad Vanderhorn. Now, Brad Vanderhorn is Killian Maddox's idol. He was Mr. Olympia. Let's just say Mike O'Hearn meets Killian, says the line, "Oh, so you're my biggest fan." Oh man, I see memes about that sometimes, and it's like, oh man. Because after meeting Killian, the camera cuts to dark and then fades to light in a trailer. And we see Killian getting off the bed. We see what Mike O'Hearn did to Killian. When I say everyone gasped, the theater was all like, everyone had the same, like, what? But a movie to get that type of jaw-dropping emotion out of you, do you know how rare that is? That a movie can even accomplish a fraction of that? This movie is amazing, and the director needs more recognition, more credit. The director being Elijah Bynum. I hope I'm not screwing up the last name. Amazing job. From the feel of this movie to the psychology of Killian, the brilliant performance from Jonathan Majors. Everyone was hoping that this could be the role that kind of fixes what's going on with Jonathan Majors, but I know it's going to take a lot more than that. Once, like I said, once a narrative is painted and set, it's very hard to remove, but I think Jonathan Majors has the chops to fix that narrative. Hopefully he can return back to form, and back to getting those good roles. And hopefully there's a path of redemption, like guys like Robert Downey Jr., guys like Johnny Depp. Everything about this movie was just great, and it sucks that this movie's just fallen to the wayside, because I really think he would have been nominated for Oscar if his name wasn't tainted by the incident. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you see Magazine Dreams? If you did, let me know how you liked it. And yeah, I'm out.